Hey, girl.
We're back.
Hey, y'all.
It's another week of what? Girl, please.
Period. Get into the girl, please. Hello, we're back. Hello.
We're back.
Hello.
I really hope that y'all watched our last episode because it was really good, okay? And we are here for you all. And we're back again, like I said, and this is episode 16. Get into it.
Period.
Period. Tiara always laughs at me. Anyway, y'all, I'm Daisha, your resident brand strategist, curating all things culture and experiences. And this is my lovely co-host.
Yes, she is, and yes, I am. And I am Tiara, your resident personal stylist, helping you embody your visions to live your purpose.
Snaps every time we
Get
say it.
into the purpose.
Come on, impact, purpose. Love
Period.
it. Okay? So y'all, honey, everything has been happening. I feel like we
Well,
just
first of all, before you even get into that, you're just really looking so pretty today. I'm loving this. Like, you're giving executive realness. She's
okay.
giving corporate,
Where's
not.
my briefcase? Ooh.
Where's her briefcase? Where is that big pack phone from the 80s? Just
Yep.
give me all of those things. Give me shoulder pad.
Ah,
You
I
love a
love
shoulder pad.
y'all know I love a good shoulder pad, honey, and a good blazer.
And a good chain just running down your décolleté.
Ooh. You know Tiara is gonna always give y'all the proper term. Okay? I love that because Miss Mamas is looking very chic herself, honey.
Oh, well,
Like
thank
like
you.
she's straight out of London town. I love to see.
Ooh, hello, darling.
I love it. Honey, first of all, before we even start, I
Okay.
would love for y'all to show us like what y'all are wearing, the things y'all are loving. I think we talked about this last week, but get into the DMs. Like if I say that one more time,
Yeah.
friends, oh my
And
gosh.
getting into all the social media teams, we're gonna give a little dedicated hashtag. Do the girls even still do the hashtag?
Yes.
There. We're
Hashtag.
gonna do a hashtag. It's gonna be called It's Giving Girl Please. And y'all
Absolutely.
are gonna really just tag It's Giving Girl Please when you are giving
Yes.
girl
And
please.
join the conversation. That's the best way to do so. So
Yeah.
let's roll right into it because we have so much to cover, so
Yeah.
many good things to talk about. So
Yeah.
I read an article this week by Jeannie Ann Lewin.
And
Um,
shout out to Jeannie Girl from the Perfect Magazine.
yeah, she's a stylist and all the things.
Mhm.
And so first of all, I love the title of the article because it's My Body Has Gone Out of Style. And
Yeah.
basically it just profiles, what we've been seeing and what I probably talk about every week, the
Yeah.
lack of inclusivity within the fashion space
Yeah.
and what we've seen during fashion week and on the runways.
Yeah.
And so she basically talks about that. So she profiles some designers, which I mean we've talked about as well, such as like Sinead O'Dwyer and Caroline Vito, who I am very, very obsessed with, and just some other folks. But the article, first of all, we are curvy ladies over here, so
Oh yeah. Through
we
and through.
definitely, this is home, right? And this is something that I'm super passionate about. And it talked about like the rise of Ozempic and the
Yeah.
rise of seeing the size zero on the runway, and
Yeah.
and then also
The rise of it. Oh, you mean
like
after?
after we had this whole moment of having
Okay.
size diversity, now we're seeing the fall of,
Yeah.
curvy models and the rise of a size zero
Yeah.
again being like the main focal point on the runway.
Yeah.
Which is just so sad, right, friends? Because it's so many just great models,
Yeah.
designers that are size inclusive, and also Esther Manas. She talked about who I also am a
Yeah.
very that's a fan favorite of mine. Um, but yeah, it was the article
Well, okay, hold
was
on.
really
Wait.
to the
Because
point
you
though.
breezing on through it, but in
Yeah,
terms of like the sadness of it all, I mean, are you really surprised? Like,
no,
are we going to act like we really believed that the fashion industry was going to become inclusive and only continue to ascend into inclusiveness? No.
absolutely. It's sad. The sadness comes in where it's like you get this little glimpse of hope and then it's
Yeah.
like pulled away. But we have to
Well, you know
remember.
what I'm going to say about that. I mean, if enough people really want to see this happen, enough people can really make it shake. Like, with that sort of narrative, we're trying to change an industry that by nature is not about that and has told you time and time again that that's not what they want. That's not what they champion is beautiful. That is not what they want to see on their runways. That is not who they design clothing for. That is not who they want to see in their ads. That is not who they want to shoot and print.
Yeah,
Like they've stuck claim on and told you time and time again what they're about.
yeah. You took the words out of my mouth because that's what I was going to say. I was
Oh,
like, we have to
you're
remember
alive.
that, you know, this industry wasn't built on that. So, we're trying to weave it in now, and we're trying to, there's folks that advocate for this, but again, like to Tiara's point,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't built on that. No one truly cares. A
Yeah,
lot of things are to meet a quota or to say that you did it, but it's not a genuine
yeah,
effort there, and no one really cares about the impact. And so
yeah,
it's interesting because we also saw, and we'll probably talk about this in one of our episodes, but the Victoria's Secret um, runway show that just happened, and folks were in
yeah.
an uproar about that. And so, and then all the things, and then what's the
And I mean, some of it rightfully so, if I'm going to
I
be honest.
mean, listen, I you see what I said. I said we'll come back to it because we can't talk about it all today,
It's
honey.
not, in certain respects, it needs its own show because it is too much.
I'm just gonna give it a moment of silence. Okay.
Let's just go on and hope that this is the last time we even need to go through this with Victoria's Secret.
We need
Because
to
who
just,
is y'all selling draws to?
honey, just wrap it up. That's cut the show.
Please cut the show.
Anyway, but it's just interesting too because and remind me, friend,
Mm.
the diversity, the stats that just came out. I cannot think of the name, but we'll
Oh,
share
the diversity
that.
report?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it basically, again, the stats and the figures and the facts show, that there is a lack of diversity within the fashion industry. But again, like TR said, are
And
we
we really
surprised?
didn't need them to do the math to tell us
No,
that.
we didn't. I mean, we can
Because
physically
when
see.
we were even fake being inclusive, are we going to act like that was truly satisfying?
No.
Like there were so many missed opportunities to include bigger bodies on runways, uh,
Yeah.
a variety of shades and colors on your runways, sizes, shapes, just all the
All kind of
things, all the
and
descriptors, all
that's
the types of people out there. Like they're never just going to give you that.
Yeah. And that's also what Jeannie mentioned
Mm,
in the article as well, is like we
yeah,
saw this huge moment happen in 2020 where brands quote unquote were acting like they were into inclusivity and
yeah,
diversity, and then we look now at 2024,
yeah.
a major difference just throughout the time frame. So I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. It's
Yeah.
not something that's like mind blowing to me, but it is just sad
No.
to see that, like, we are still talking about the same things year after year, and we
Well,
should
and
be
people
at a
and
different point, in my
oh,
opinion.
sorry. I think there was a little delay there. Sorry. But yeah, and also from insiders. Like Jeannie is a veteran at this point in the industry. She's been around. She's done editorials, she's done ad campaign, like she's been in every facet of the industry. And
Hmm.
as someone who is also, plus size or curvy or whatever the descriptors are, like it's challenging. Like we can relate. Like it's super challenging to be in this industry and love it and want to impact change and innovate from within to
Hmm.
no avail. Like you're always met with a wall, a
And
cold shoulder on a wall.
right. And she talks about, how people are so scared to use the word fat these days because of the
Yeah.
fat phobia that exists. And it's so crazy because when I was
Yeah.
graduating college, I had major weight loss. And I remember my professor saying to me, "Girl, what you doing?" Like it was like a major difference. And
Oh,
not in
like how did
a
you
bad
do
way. He
it?
was like, wait a minute. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, nothing. I'm just, in my mind, I was preparing myself for New York. And I was preparing myself
Oh,
to be in this environment that, again, we just talked about. My body
yeah.
type isn't celebrated nor seen, and this is back in
Yeah.
2015. So you already know it wasn't much of that. And
Yeah.
so I thought, while I was in college, I was like, I have to lose weight. I have to do that. I have to be small. I
Yeah.
have to do
Yeah.
this. to be taken serious in New York and in the fashion industry, and
Yeah.
that's what I did. And then once I reprogrammed myself,
Yeah.
and I actually
It's all
sat
about
in.
reframing.
Yeah, it's reframing, and it's also understanding that no, you don't have to change who you are,
Yeah.
to fit in, because who
Yeah.
wants you to be in will accept you. And
Yeah.
so, that was a whole moment for me moving to New York. And then also just
Yeah.
meeting other women in the space that had fuller bodies that
Yeah.
also helped me to understand, like, again, no, you don't have to. And I,
Yeah.
I went to fashion school with all of these girls that are
Oh,
smaller,
girl. Don't even
and,
remind me of
so it's
that.
like, it's pressure within itself. But so that's where, and I think we all probably have stories where we try to fit in some kind of way because we
Yeah.
love fashion so much, and we want to be a part. But that's where I think it's sad, because it's a little girl like us that
Yeah.
wants to be in the industry. She doesn't probably see herself and thinks like she has to change or morph into what they want her to be accepted. So
Yeah, and that's why there are platforms like ours, or platforms like ours individually, or platforms like some of the other women and men that we're going to cover in the rest of the show, and that we do
yeah.
through and through every week. Like, people are breaking out of that mold. Like,
Mhm.
that establishment is that establishment, and that establishment has established what they're about. If you
Right.
want to see something else, you have to create it,
I love it.
and
And I love
people
that
are
we
out
have
there
options now.
creating it.
Like, we've
Yeah.
come a long way. We have lots of options and resources,
Yeah.
folks and figures. So love
Yeah.
that. And so this was a really good article. If you all have not seen it, it's on luk.com. Check it
Yeah.
out. Check out Jeannie, check out Perfect Mag, and just check
Yeah.
out the people that are, again, advocating for change and disruption
Yeah.
within the fashion and creative industries at large. I think that
Yeah.
there's so many folks to profile and we can't get through them, but each week we try to give y'all a little piece of something. So there you go.
Yeah. Each week, we try to give you a little piece of something. If greater words were spoken, we don't know.
I love that. But I think that takes us into our next
Yeah.
subject matter.
Speaking of innovators and people taking platforms and breaking away from the mold and creating their own, I was also doing some reading this week, friend.
Okay. Tell
And
us.
I came across, speaking of those platforms, actually, things like Substack and just social media as a whole. But Substack is sort of this place where a lot of fashion writers and fashion industry defectors, if you will, have gone to forge their own paths and
Yes.
create the content that they wish to see, that they
Mhm.
are unsettled about, from the mainstream. And Chelsea Joseph is one of those fashion writers who has been housing her content over there, and she has the newsletter Market Appointment, if you guys aren't familiar. But
Mhm.
she did an event a couple of weeks ago, and she
Mhm.
invited some heavy hitters, Marjan Carlos,
Mhm.
quite a few hard hitters in the
Right.
industry, right? And they were talking about who are today's fashion authorities.
Yeah.
And this is something that we talk about often because we're just kind of like, people want to do away with gatekeepers and do away with subject matter experts, but
Mhm.
we're
Mhm.
starting to see the void of how necessary those individuals actually are when it comes to navigating just this multitude of content as it relates to fashion specifically, but all of its subsets like style and commerce and culture and lifestyle. Like, you need somebody who has dedicated their life to becoming experts on these specific subjects. You need somebody with an authoritative voice that you can trust to help you recommend or learn or understand what it is you're consuming, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So they sat down, and they talked about how, what is causing the decline of fashion media. How were pubs better before? And I really wanted to ask you that. Like, what are some thoughts you have, really honestly spilling the tea on the thoughts that you and I bounce off of each other daily? But what's causing the decline? Like, why are we here? Like, why are names like Vogue and Harper's still very known? But do you really go there first when you want to know
Yeah.
anything?
I think it's so, oh God, to me, that's like a multi-tiered question, right? Like I think it's so nuanced.
Mm,
But I think, and I said this last week, I think one of the problems is, and not necessarily that it's a full on problem, because again, we just talked about having outlets and resources,
mhm.
but with outlets and resources, anyone can call themselves, an authority,
I
and an
love social
expert.
media.
And we talk about this all the time. And so it's so interesting to me when people talk about this.
Mm,
And I hate to say that they're, some folks. I don't think these folks are, but some people talk about it, and it's like, but you're also a part of that. You're also one of the ones we're talking about.
But
Um,
explain, like, what's that point that you're hitting on with your some of the
People
folks
that
we're
are
talking about?
self, kind of like, I mean, we're all self-proclaimed, right? But I
Yeah.
think the folks that kind of have wiggled their way in some type of way, either they knew someone, or
Mm-hmm.
or something just happened. It was, I well, is this a nostalgia session for us? Because really, like, I remember thinking I had the hardest time, y'all, getting a job out of college, and that's why I went to grad school. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what do I have to do?
Yeah.
I finally got an internship at Factory PR as a fashion tech intern, y'all. Fashion tech, honey. I don't even know. I
We've
didn't.
all had our fashion tech stint in the
Listen,
beginnings of our fashion careers.
okay,
Some
it's so
people
funny because, like, they were like, well, we like you, but we filled, the true fashion
yeah,
interns. How do you feel about this merging? And I was like, whatever to get me in, right?
yeah,
So I went and I was the fashion tech intern. And it really opened my eyes, because I was like, wow, this is a whole subset of fashion I knew nothing about.
yeah.
And so I did that during my time in grad school. So I
Hmm.
was already out of college. But I
Hmm.
would notice in that, like, it would be folks that I knew that were never interested in fashion that
Hmm.
would like land these jobs that were like
All the
dream jobs
time.
for me. And
You
so
interned with them as well. Like,
exactly,
it's
interned with
always
them.
that girl, oh, my dad just knows the owner and I just need
Right,
something
right.
today.
And so for a long time, and we worked with some at one of our
Oh,
agencies.
yes, we did.
Won't name names, but for a long time I struggled with that, and I'm sure maybe a lot of true fashion girls struggled with that, because it's like, wait, I genuinely love this subject matter. I
Mhm.
didn't just fall into it because I got a job at 17, or Cosmo, or wherever
Yeah,
these people were going.
yeah,
And for a long time I was just like, oh my gosh, like, is this not meant for me? But again, you had to reframe your mind, and I was super young. But
yeah,
I say all of that to say that I think that that's the disconnect. A lot of people fall into it. They don't
yeah,
genuinely, and maybe they learn to love it, but it wasn't their first love. And so
yeah,
then there's folks like us who are super passionate, and this is what we love, and we can't imagine ourselves. Maybe we wiggle outside the lines a little, but this is what we want our legacies to be. And so
yeah,
I think it's a common, just like clash almost, because
yeah,
we're sitting in the same rooms,
yeah,
but you don't know if that person genuinely cares about what you care about, or if it's just a job to them. And this has
yeah.
always been more than just a job for
So
me.
are you saying that these people are the ones that have come in and started the decline of the authority of the publications? Like they kind of really just didn't care anyways, and they're going with the popular,
I
you know,
think so. I think that a lot of times,
capitalistic.
oh my gosh, I just wrote this on my Instagram, y'all. Y'all should follow me, because sometimes I'll be going off. But
Oh,
I just wrote that I think people are too caught up, one, in the aesthetic of things, and not the real work and the real impact.
yeah,
And so, to your point, yes, I do think, not that all folks, because I do feel like sometimes you can get exposed to things, and then, a
yeah,
passion and a love grows from it.
yeah,
But I want to see the people that are like, I live, love, breathe, fashion and all the things. And I see you wanting to
Well,
jump.
because I was going to say, I'm glad that you said people have just fallen into the aesthetics of things, because one of the things that they hit on in the article was as fashion becomes pure appearance, it
Yeah.
finds its perfect summing up in photographs. What people understand of fashion is now mostly set by photographic images more and more. Fashion and fashion photography. Fashion is fashion photography. That is a direct line from the article,
Yeah.
just by the way. Those aren't my words. But essentially this is what Daisha has been saying. And I agree. Like where they've done away with the introspection
Mm-hmm.
of culture in the publications. Like, as people's attention spans dwindle, there's less and less depth in what's
Right.
being produced, and there's more and more priority placed on what's going to get out there quickly and to the most people to get the most dollars in the shortest amount of time.
But
Like
because
that's
of
really just
that,
kind of where we are right
exactly.
now.
And to me, because of that, it's a lack of passion, like I'm saying, and a lack of,
Yeah, and I'm
the
not denying
impact
that.
of it
I'm
all.
just saying, like,
Oh, for sure.
from that, because of the lack of passion, that has opened the gateway to the decline, which is
Mm-hmm.
what we're getting to with the question here. But and then by that, to your point, the fashion reviews are not even reviews or critiques anymore. They're just, as they say, descriptors or descriptive
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
nature. Like they're literally just coming to a show, showing you what they saw, not provoking any thought, not
Right.
providing any real honestly, fashion reviews provide zero value these days. And I
Mm-hmm.
fully agree with Chelsea on this point. Like they are just descriptive. They're not critical. And then
Mm-hmm.
she mentions like this fashion review of the last Ralph Lauren show where they spent a specific, like a decent amount of time just talking about the commute back and forth and how accommodations are better in the European market and how moving forward, if they want to expand, they should pay more attention to this. And
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea's argument was, well, how is this even relevant information to what we're talking about here? Like, sure, drop in a piece and how that affected your perspective of the show because you're so tired
Yeah.
from, a traffic laden commute that you can't even focus on these
Right.
prints or whatever. What is Ralph? I mean, come on. What did they? Okay, we're not going to do that. But
Right.
basically, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and then she goes into this thought about, this portion of the article being super keyword rich to get into the SEO and then the algorithms. Like, they're just feeding you junk. Like,
Yeah.
they really are.
It's
They're
no
just
thought
feeding you junk.
leadership, in my opinion. It
Well, there
lacks
aren't any thoughts because we can't
professing
really
that.
give thoughts
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
then that,
The thoughts lack.
interferes with the ad dollars. No thoughts.
No
Please,
thoughts.
no thoughts. Please.
No thoughts. Yeah.
Nobody give thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
then how do you have an authority then, right? Like you
I
can't give thoughts. You don't
Right.
have. We're lacking folks with passion and reason and
Yep.
wanting to create impact.
Or even any knowledge of what they're speaking on
Right.
beyond, whatever talking points they were given by their main editor to just go out and do your beat and bring me back, however many words or whatever the
Right.
directives are in
Or
those.
now, because we've done so many layoffs, because that is
Yeah.
also a thing, that now you have to cover something that
Yeah.
again you are
Oh,
not
not
well.
originally. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. And then lastly, they just talked about again, lack of diversity, which is also adding to the decline, right? Because who is speaking on culture? And you and I talk about this all the time. Like really the
He is.
writing, but really the introspective writing does come from culture enthusiasts, right? Like that was the lifestyle piece in Glossy's of past, right?
Mhm.
Like we came here because we all have a common interest in taste.
Right.
Taste in as many facets of that word as we can possibly find, and we come here intellectually dressed to the hilt to discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting in our beautifully manicured salons, right? Like we've greased our kids down. They're out in our beautiful yards. We're drinking from chalices on these chase lounges, right? We're sitting in the den chatting with the girls
Right.
about very intellectual things. Like that's what it used to be: art, culture,
Right.
thought, even politics, just like what is at the root of life. Like we have really just gotten life up out of here.
Yeah.
I don't even want you to live no more in fashion.
No.
But you better go and buy those Balenciaga boat shoes.
Wait, I just rolled my eyes so hard, child.
They
Please.
stuck friend.
But I think that yeah, the culture piece is what's missing. And then
Oh
also
yeah.
the understanding of culture, right?
Yeah.
Because
What
then
even
some
is culture
people,
anymore?
right, because some people's idea of culture obviously is probably different. But to your point, it is all of those things. It's the
But
art.
culture
It's
is different. There are a
it is
multitude of
different. But
cultures.
but we, I feel like when people think of culture, I think they think only like, oh, what's happening in the streets, like
But all of that, whether it's happening in the streets or not, is filtered through a white lens at these publications.
absolutely.
Like
Mhm.
they get to, it's like the conversation about hip hop that we have all the time. What we're getting in hip hop is really what non black people are dictating.
Mhm.
Let's just really be real.
Right.
Like, I was just thinking about it the other day. Like, our lady rappers, right? Like, how is it that these women are multimillionaires in theory or truth, right? They're multimillionaires. They have the biggest budgets that the industry has ever seen. It just takes a lot of money for them to just wake up in the morning. They're
Mhm.
all Linda Evangelista, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
everything that they talk about in their music is not that. Like
Mhm.
it's just, how are you toting a gun in a Birkin bag? You know what I mean? Like how, I'm so,
Whoa.
but I'm just saying, like, how have we gotten here? And then sometimes, of course, because of the culture of hip hop, because hip hop is a culture, we do understand the street aesthetics that are just constantly present in the art form. And we interpret whatever realm of life through that lens. But haven't you
Mhm.
noticed how very specific and narrow that lens has been for a long time? The only person that I can think of immediately that kind of breaks out of that mold is maybe Sweetie. But regardless, culture is gone. They done got culture up out of here. They done got life up out of here. And they have filtered you down, watered you down to just
To a picture.
everybody in this
An
picture is
aesthetic.
wearing these sneakers. So you got to get them too.
Exactly. The
And
hype.
that's the fashion conversation with bits of nostalgia. And then they go and they ruin the past for
Right.
you.
And no real perspectives.
And no real expertise on the matter. We could talk about this all day, y'all. But the moral of
Literally.
the story is Chelsea Joseph and Market Appointment and all those amazing writers that she got together. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the event, but I'm sure it was a grand conversation. And I'm sure they provided lots of insight into how we've gotten here and why there are no fashion authorities. But we have just given you our main points, and we feel like that is lack of passion, lack of diversity, lack of focus, lack
Mhm.
of perspective, and there just aren't any subject matter experts at the forefront. There are plenty of them, but they're not given the opportunity
Yeah.
to lace you with their expertise.
And you know what? This is my final thought on that too.
Okay.
Because there are lots of people, right? And we've named them throughout our tenure of this show,
And
right?
we'll continue
And
to.
will continue to. But if they lack a following, an aesthetic, all these different things, again, they don't get their just due. They don't get the
Yeah.
amplification that they deserve. And that to me is the root again of the issue because we are too caught up in the pretty things, fluff, like again, like I said, no real perspective,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate. So
But the
like you
people
said,
are out here doing it, and we do have to also put some of the responsibility, a lot of the responsibility on the audience too. Like, don't continue to get sucked into
the
these
vac.
wheels and meals of nothingness. Like,
Yeah.
actually break away from the monotony of content and decide for yourself that you want more, because people do want more. They actually did a study, did a white paper. There's a new publication that's launched. It's called Hers. I think in our last show, we covered an article that, or something that Marjan was a part of with
Mhm.
Hers. But they did a white paper and they did a study. Also, shout out to this article from Chelsea. 56% of people they spoke to want to understand a topic from multiple points of views from a diverse group.
And
People
there,
are out here wanting to
there
hear what you want to hear about, and they're providing you with that content. Don't let these major mainstream corporations suck you in. Like, a lot of these people who have defected come from these places, and they want to give you more. Go follow them, go search them out. Like, let's just move away to the places that are giving you the things that you want. Don't
exactly.
let an algorithm feed it to you. Grab a hold of your life, friends. Grab a hold of your life.
Like
Just
me.
grab it.
Weak.
Stand up.
Okay, please. Well, girl, listen. Side note, okay, because we can, we can go
Yeah,
on and
we was on the soapbox right with that one.
on. Okay, but it was needed. But anyway, Ami Cole secured a L'Oreal investment, which means that they are now expanding into Sephora. So kudos and claps to them. That's a major thing.
That's
Um,
Black-owned beauty
Black
brand.
owned beauty that if you don't know, you should know. Go
Don't they
to
have a very popular lip oil
Yes,
or
they do.
like a situation?
They do.
I haven't gotten any yet, but this is
Yes,
on my list of things to consume. And yeah,
yeah.
salute
So
Ami
go check it
Colette.
out because the expansion is in Sephora, so it's no excuse now.
Yeah, go
Um,
get your VIB points.
okay, and so also we saw TriStar sets their biopic of pioneering fashion designer Ann Lowe with Serena Williams and Ruth Carter. Shout out to Ruth, Hampton
Yeah.
alum. Yes.
Yeah, so Anne Lowe, for those of you that don't know, actually designed Jackie Kennedy's wedding dress. So, iconic designer. Get into the know, and later we'll tell you who will probably be teaching you a little bit more about Miss Anne Lowe, RIP to
Yes.
that legend. And I think this is great. So we're going to be on the lookout for Serena Williams and Ruth Carter, also costume designer veteran. She did Wakanda Forever and a plethora of things before that. So
Okay.
salute to her. We love to see her continuing to get these big ticket projects.
Yes, and speaking of Serena Williams, we saw her on the cover of Essence, honey.
Yes, we
We
did.
also saw her sister on the cover of Document Journal.
Yes, we did. Battle of the
The
Covers,
Williams
Battle of
girls, honey, are taking over.
one thing about them, they gonna stay in the competition. You hear me?
Okay. Just I love to see them do their
Yeah.
later and just so bomb. Love them. And
Yeah.
then also we saw Chanel name Lupita Nyong'o as their brand ambassador, which is
Yeah. Salute to
love
her.
this
I
girl.
mean, Lupita has been
Girl's
on
a
a very long, long fashion journey, so it's good to see.
Okay, and so that section honestly should have been called "Cut the Black Girls a Check"
Cha-ching,
because, honey,
cha-ching.
the black girls are getting their coins.
Give
Love to
them
see
their
all of
money.
it. Okay, that brings us to another black girl that we stand, honey, and this is our girl Yes of the week.
Okay, so and I am super excited to give y'all the
Yeah.
girl best of the week because the one Miss Anak the Rock Yai. Woo! She is my fashion dream.
Oh my God,
She's
just a
my fashion dream. Like,
dream.
I literally live for a knock. So we saw her gallivanting across the carpet for the Vogue Italia's 60th anniversary dinner a couple of weeks ago. And she
Mhm.
had on a Francesco Murano white.
Beautiful.
She just had on this amazing white gown. It was flowy, but it was a little architectural. It had a little cutout. It just was so form fitting, but it had some. I mean, she was just. Look, we're giving it to you right here.
Honey, I want the dress. Okay, make it for me.
I want the dress, but I also want a knock consistently
Oh, absolutely.
giving me this, as
Keep
she
her out
has
my
been
street.
doing for
Yes.
time. If y'all are not hip to a knock, I mean, what really are you doing? Do you even really like fashion?
Come on. And then we just saw her as well during homecoming, Howard's homecoming.
Yes.
I was like, a
Were
moment
you,
for
you
them.
were there? You were there?
No, I
Oh,
wasn't there,
okay.
sadly. But I was like, okay, I see the other
Yeah.
HU, honey. I see y'all trying to do it.
That's a real full circle moment for her. Cause didn't she
Yeah.
like get discovered like doing something at home,
Hmm.
like just getting discovered in some
I don't
sort
know
of
the
collegiate
backstory, but
capacity?
it could be, and that could have been a
Beautiful.
great, yeah, that could have been a great moment, like you said. So shout out to
Yeah.
Anat. We love that.
Shout out to a nice
She's our
girl.
girl, yes, every week, honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
Between her and Mona Tugart, like I just really can't. Oh, and Precious, our girl Preciously.
Stan.
Like those are my favorites.
This is a preciously
Those
Stan
are my favorite models.
love. Yes. Well, it is that time again. It
Do they know?
is the girl police of the
Are
week.
y'all ready for that though? Are they ready? Because I mean, we have been gone for a minute.
Well,
Now
if
we
you're
get
ready,
please.
honestly, you should stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So that's the girl
Yeah.
please of it
You
all.
never know when it's gonna pop up.
Okay? Boop. Bam.
Actually, you do.
Mm, well,
Every Tuesday.
listen, right. Right
Okay,
on your
proceed,
YouTube
friend.
channel.
Proceed.
Um, so we talked about this in our last episode, and this is why y'all gotta, you gotta watch us weekly because we see things throughout. We talked about the theme of the 2025 Met Gala. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, friend, let's get into it. What's some of your thoughts? Because I know we talked
Yeah,
about it, and I want you to.
we talked about it a little bit. Actually, actually, what are your thoughts? Because I don't even think we really got that.
We probably didn't. I am one. How do we say this? I'm
Ooh,
excited to
we're
see,
Spanish.
of course, to see the black men, um,
Okay.
as co-chairs. I think that the women, come on, my brain. Today has been a long day for us, but
Uh,
the men that were chosen, I think, were great choices.
okay.
A part of me sometimes just thinks, is this our what's the word? Are we doing like what's the word when people do things for show? What's the word, child?
When people do things for show.
Yeah, like again, like not to meet a quota, but like
Oh, okay. Like this is performative.
performative.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Giving
I
performative.
I don't want to think of it in that way. I want to think genuinely that we want to give black dandyism its flowers, its just due. It
Yeah.
deserves this moment. And it deserves all of the fanfare behind it. But we read articles that, basically talked about Anna Wintour, and the way she's treated some black men in the
Yep.
past. So for
Just
me,
people in general.
and black people in general, yes. But for me, it feels like, are you now trying to highlight black men because of the wrongdoings that you've done?
I think
Or
so. Like, let's just call a thing a thing. Like, you didn't get to do the show that you wanted to do before.
mm-hmm,
You've had a lot of backlash recently.
mm-hmm,
You're at, I'd say, the tail end of your career, if we're being real, and you're trying to autocorrect. You're
right,
trying to do some atoning, you're trying to do some appeasing, because there are other back end things happening, which we'll get into in this conversation as well. But now this is an opportune time to just go ahead and be diverse. I mean, I feel like that's how we all feel. We don't know that to be true, but we are all thinking it. And I
yeah,
actually, when the announcement of the theme was given, Lewis's Mag, if you guys aren't familiar, which is another Substack. But essentially, he says, seeing how white celebrities will navigate, interpret, avoid black dandyism for next year's Met Gala is going to be really interesting.
hmm,
And I agreed. I said, honestly, this is the part. And I'm already pissed off because no one is going to be taking this serious.
no,
However, I will say I can't say no one. There are people who are taking this serious, right? Like there's oh my gosh, what's the woman's name? That's the curator. She's
yes,
the
black
historian.
women, mm-hmm,
Yes. I think she's taking this very
Oh,
seriously. And I
for
think that this
sure.
is an amazing
Yeah.
opportunity for her to be a subject matter expert
Yes.
on a phenomenal topic that is
Mm-hmm.
long overdue of coverage,
Right.
right? Like, this is actually an opportunity for the fashion industry to get culture right.
Right.
There's not a lot of the things we're wearing today without the black dandies.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop to streetwear pipeline, they grandpa is the dandies.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna act like that. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm already shielding myself from the disrespect that's gonna happen for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to. You have to because we already know.
Yeah.
That's what we're up against,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out and how people really interpret
Yeah.
the theme because it's also up to interpretation.
So I
And
did get a oh, finish your thought.
oh no, no, finish.
So I did get a DM from my little soror,
Yeah,
our little soror.
yeah,
I mean,
so
she might be older than you, friend. But one of my little neos, she wrote and she said, dang, why is the focus already on what white people will do? It's
mm,
exhausting how obsessed we can be with them at times. Why
mhm.
not anticipate how we will pop out more?
Yeah. And that's really, to her point, that's what I've been thinking about. Like, how are black people and our black fashion folks and celebs going to show up? That's what I'm more so interested in. I could honestly care less what they wear and what they do. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how they do interpret it. But yeah, this is our show. This is our time. I really hope that we own it and we
So
kill
I
it.
said to her, though,
Yeah.
I hear you, but the reality is white people are controlling and navigating this. White people are constructing it. White people will be the majority in attendance. And we know the white people who head the brands, who select the talent to attend as their guests, who sponsors, what's on the horizon to promote this coming season, and historically what they do in these situations. We know the majority of guest stylists will overwhelmingly be white. We know the PR people. We know why this theme was selected at this time. We just in the industry and know what's up. Call it jaded, I'll allow it, but the truth is just the truth. To see something constantly and expect a different result would be insanity, right? I am rooting for the optimism though.
Same. Same. Rooting
So
for the
we'll
opposition,
see.
but
Listen, we went into a deeper conversation and, I explained to her some more things and she gets it. But I agree with her in the sense that, you know, we should be on the lookout for what is good from this because this is potentially a very good situation for a
absolutely.
highlighting of an area of fashion culture that is often overlooked but is
Right.
so integral to what we're doing today.
Absolutely.
Why we do need not gatekeepers, but subject matter experts to navigate us through a subject as intensive as this.
For sure. This is the all the archivists and historian girls time to shine, okay? I'm
Yeah.
ready to see it. And like I said, I'm excited to see it come to life. I think the co-chairs that were selected, especially Coleman Domingo, I'm obsessed with him. I
Okay.
think that is, it's great. It's great to
Yeah.
see.
So we got Pharrell, Coleman Domingo,
Lewis
ASAP
Hamilton.
Rocky, and Lewis Hamilton
Yep, and LeBron James.
and LeBron James. And
Hmm.
we all know why sports is involved.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we have another subject. Actually, we can go to it next about LVMH and Formula One signing a 10-year partnership. But now you got your Lewis Hamilton link.
Okay.
And so this is how we go back to the, you know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah. It's
Also
really
great for him.
right.
It's really no shade to him because this is an amazing opportunity for him and he's very visible and vocal in a
Yeah.
space that is often not visible for black men. I mean, let's just be honest. And
Mhm.
he's broken a lot of barriers and made some historic moments and he deserves this honor.
Mhm. Mhm.
If he feels
Yes,
like this is an honor,
I'm interested to see how it plays
we'll
out.
see.
We'll come back on that. And then speaking of LVMH,
Okay.
LVMH sells off Off-White,
Oh yeah, did y'all
um,
catch that?
to Blue Star Alliance, and the CEO actually went to Pharrell's Human Race. Clock.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, because Pharrell is LVMH these
right.
days.
So, we talked about during like literally our last two episodes about Off-White, their debut at New York Fashion Week and how it
Yeah.
just flopped.
Yeah.
So this information pretty much came afterwards, and
The people were in an uproar.
I see why.
Well, why do you
Uproar because it got
okay,
sold off, or uproar.
uproar because it got sold off. But it's like obviously it got sold off because none of you are buying it.
Right. And this is my thing about it. How
You're
are we
not
in a,
buying it.
how can you, I say this about anything.
You're
How
not
can we
buying it.
in an uproar about something when you're not helping the situation?
You ain't got now piece of off white in your closet. And
But
if you do, it's that
also,
same caution tape belt that you bought 75 years ago.
I'm not really sorry to say this, but why was Off-White a part of LVMH from the first place?
Well, you know why. He was
Well, I know why, but again, like what is
and wasn't it like allegedly what didn't LVMH just have like a minority stake in off white?
when we talk about luxury, I guess my ideas are just off. Like I
Well, okay. So with that whole situation, I mean, if you don't understand why Off White was sold off,
that's a girl please to you, because
yeah,
I mean anybody could, we just told y'all it's about the dollars and the cents. If it's
and it
not
makes
making
sense.
money, it's not making sense. It has to go. It
Yeah,
has to
it just it's
And I'm
got to.
so sorry about it.
It's a wrap on that.
Yeah, that's a girl please to
I'm not
me.
sorry about it. You know,
I told you from the beginning I wasn't sorry about
but
it, but
it is a girl. Please, the whole situation is a girl. Please,
it's all
like okay.
whatever.
So that's that on that.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a girl please on the LVMH Formula One partnership. It's
No.
just interesting how fashion has done merged into sports, but
Yes.
fashion is entertainment now, and so
Yep.
there you have it. So goodbye Rolex. Was it Rolex? I think it was Rolex.
Now it's Formula One. Great.
No,
Fabulous.
okay.
So this isn't a girl please, but it's a girl please we want to see more. So
Oh yes,
yeah, so Shelby Ivy Christie recently dropped her book,
your resident historian.
Fashion historian, yes ma'am. Also HBCU alum. Shout out to us.
Period.
Um she dropped her book called The Black Fashion Legends ABC, and it's so cute.
Yeah,
It's for little kids,
yeah.
and
No,
honestly,
no, no. It's for everybody.
well, yes,
It's
because
for
it's the
everybody.
ABCs of obviously fashion legends, but I
Yeah.
would get it for like my little, my nieces and
No, but
things.
she made it very clear that she wanted it to be consumable for
Right,
all
for all
ages.
ages. Yes.
Very much at a level where anybody can understand and participate in fashion. And this is what we call inclusivity. And
Yes.
shout out to her for deciding to be an innovator and a change maker and establish her own publishing company
Yes,
to
and
provide you with the fashion content that she wants you to see.
yes, absolutely. And it's around obviously people of color, Black people, who are pioneers and pioneering in
Yeah.
this space. And so I'm super excited to see what else she publishes and the
Yeah.
partnerships, and how she really wiggles and works through this space. So shout out to Shelby.
You
That's
love her content
a
style on, from Twitter to Instagram. So I'm sure it'll be just as snappy as she is in the most positive way. And maybe she'll teach you about Miss Ann Lowe, honey.
okay. I'm gonna get it because I want to see
I
too.
might get it too.
Who's for each
Yeah,
letter.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
I think
which
it'll be a
is
good treat. I got
yeah,
some little nieces and nephews to your point too that I think that this would be a really
and it
cute.
was in partnership with June Ambrose
Yeah,
again.
she did the
Fashion
forward.
legend.
Yes, she did the
She wrote the
forward.
forward, and I think that that's just
Getting a legend to do the forward of your
yes.
first foray into publishing. I mean,
I mean, how
iconic.
legendary are you? Like that is
Very, very
yes, love
much.
that.
So that is
Yes,
a girl all the way guess on you,
girl,
baby.
yes,
And
please give us
Shelby.
more. Give us more. So Savage Fenty and Diesel
Mm,
collaboration. I know you have thoughts, as you do with most collaborations.
mm, mm.
So tell us, friend, what you think? Is it a girl, please?
Y'all, it's a girl. Like, I hate that I'm in this era of my life where Miss Robin Rihanna Fenty be girl pleases for me. I just, it's very unsettling. And it's not that she's a girl please,
You know,
it's just that
clear.
this is. They sell 4.99 pennies
Stop it,
at 7. Like, I just,
please.
these, no,
Please, the show.
girl, please, Diesel sells thousands of dollars worth. Like, I just don't get it. What do you want? Denim draws? What do you want? What,
Not
like,
even-
I
y'all got her started. Oh gosh.
just,
Uh,
I don't understand. I'm not the demographic.
I was gonna say because
It's not the demo.
the Gen Z and the hype
Girl, okay,
culture
cut
type
the
of
show. Cut the show. Please.
culture, they probably love it. They're standing that.
What
I
do they
don't have
want?
an
Denim draws? So now the Gen Z wants denim panties.
Maybe they want all kind of weird things, and we know that.
They
We
want
know that.
anything but to learn how to read and okay. So
On that note, yes, yeah.
okay.
Oh, we missed, girl.
What we
Now
miss
we
for?
almost missed about miss talking about Miss Naomi Campbell.
You know what?
Should we save it?
We gonna save that, y'all. We're actually gonna save that because
It's some things to be said.
Miss, you know what I really need to say? I just need to figure out. Miss Mama says she's gonna get her legal lawyers on the matter, and so I need to go ahead and figure out
So we
how I
gotta
can
wait till
also
we.
get me a legal lawyer because I don't even. I thought
No,
there's
no,
a
just hold it,
okay.
just hold it. Cause see, now we need to see it develop and evolve.
Yeah, and I need to see these
We need
legal
to see it.
lawyers.
Okay,
So we gonna stay tuned. Y'all stay tuned because we are glued.
glued. We're
Glued.
watching. Yes, yes, but so yeah, y'all, that was Girl Please, okay? And we really want to hear your thoughts. Obviously, every
Yeah.
week we want to hear, are these Girl Please or Girl Yes Please or however you want to take them. Tell
Mhm.
us your thoughts, honey. Get in the comments, get in the DMs. Our email is clearly open to y'all. We want to talk about it. So I really hope, we really hope that you enjoyed this episode. We got into a lot of things
We
today.
did. And, you know, we're catching up. We were gone for a little minute. Now we're back. There's a lot of things
I'm
that
off
you
script.
probably wanted to see. So let us know if there was a topic that we didn't hit for you that you want our thoughts on. And we
Yes.
got you, friend. You
Yes.
know what you need to do. You need to get in them comments. You need
Yes.
to get
Like,
in them
comment, and
DMs.
subscribe.
Period. Just hit
Yes.
the like. Just
Okay. Hit the
hit
like
the
button.
like so you can start to see every time you
And
refresh your
also,
YouTube
aside
page.
from that,
There's this.
we don't mention this, but share the content. Click the
Oh
little
yeah,
share button on Instagram when we drop the reel. Send
yeah,
it to your friends, send it to your
yeah,
colleagues. Keep the conversation going. Join
yeah.
in on the hashtag. You know, this is a universe. This is Girl Please Universe. This is our world, and we're inviting you into our community and our space. And so, yeah, chat with us. Okay. And also, I didn't say this in the
Girl,
beginning,
please.
but happy homecoming to all my HBCU
Yes.
friends and beyond. It is homecoming
Okay,
season
now
for
that's
most of us.
culture.
Okay. Yes. And
That's
it's
what you call
HBCU
culture.
season for most of us. So shout out to my alma mater, Hampton University. We are
And I did
celebrating
not go to an
homecoming.
HBCU, but I did go to the U. Okay, so shout out the University of Miami.
Not the
Period. Go
okay.
Canes.
But yes, so shout out also to y'all as well. But happy homecoming to everyone. Happy
Don't
fall
do
to
us, baby.
everyone.
Do not do us.
And with that being said, this was episode 16 of Girl Please. Love y'all. See you next week. We're out.